Good evening, everybody, and welcome to League of Europe Formula 2 Season 5, Division 2, Round 6 at Russia. I am Killer Blue 195, and this week I have a new face in the commentary box. Not new to commentary, not new to LOE, but we haven't seen him yet this season, but I am joined by the wonderfully delightful Ariel Nathan. How are you, Nathan?
I'm good, thanks for having me. Excited to see what is on offer tonight. I think we're just about to start, but yeah, hopefully we'll see some good action around here at Rush. Obviously, in real life, not really been a lot of interesting races, but yeah, hopefully the drivers tonight can put on a show.
Well, we've got 13 drivers today, so memories of league races back on F1 2015 and 2016 abound. Before qualifying starts, I'll just run you through the championship order. So, leading the championship, we have XL Cali for UNI. Both UNI's first and second actually championship, 136 points for Cali after last time out in Abu Dhabi, and second for Ariel Jordan on 130. Londa Tim had a fabulous double win last week. He's on 128, and then VTI Doc in the Prima of 117. He's missed the last two rounds, and then Ryan on 108, Jeroen Visser on 102. And our early leader from Brazil, Rocky Raccoon, 6-8 on 101. He's also missed a couple of rounds this season. Ariel Passe rounds out the top 8 with 93 points, but he is not here today. So, I think you can't look past the two Primas for pole position. They are, I think, on pace at least, the quickest drivers. We just wait for VTI Doc to ready up for qualifying. But it is very competitive, this grid, and you can see that from how close it is. But we will ride on board with whoever the game wants to give me. We're going to ride on board with Jav. So here we go through the kink of turn 1. Takes a nice tight line, runs the car to the outside of the track, and this straight can feel extremely long in the F2 cars. He brakes nice and early, turns in, doesn't pick up a nice apex, runs very deep. Well, look if he went invalid. He didn't, just about. Takes an awfully wide line through 3, but it'll come back underneath to straighten the car up for that's turn 3, for turn 5, and that was nicely hooked up by Jav. Doesn't use too much curve on the exit. Now a short dash, stick to the left-hand side towards turn 6. It's a third gear corner. He hooks up nicely, probably uses more orange curve than he needed, runs wide. The game, for some reason, does give him an invalidation. Another kink of 7 there. Brakes for 8, probably the easiest corner on track to invalidate the course. This track is notorious for it. It runs out to the wall, takes the bump nicely. That can really unsettle the car in F1, but slower entry speed in F2, it's less of an issue. Again, takes the orange curve, but is invalidated as he comes onto the main straight, and that pushes Jav right down to last place. I'm wondering, actually, if VTI Doc also invalid. So one of the Primas that I thought would be super competitive here is out of it, and at the top we've got a three-way fight between Tim, Jordan and Ryan coming to Sector 3, championship leader, and Cali down 4th. Tim and Ryan trading places all the way through this third sector, off camber, little chicane here, very tricky to get right. Always feels like no matter how quick you are that you're messing it up, and now there's just the double right-hander of the last two corners. This can feel like, if you do it well, that it's just one corner almost. And we'll see. It's Jordan and Tim trading places to the line, and it is Cali who gets pole by 21 thousandths of a second. Ryan just a further 300s back, and Jordan another 400s back. What do you make of that qualifying, Nathan?
Yeah, very close from everyone's. Quite surprised actually that Cali's on pole. Obviously, he is the championship leader, but yeah, as you said at the start, both the Primas, obviously the quicker of the drivers, but yeah, so obviously we got Cali in first, Tim just behind in second, and Ryan in third. Jordan in fourth. The top 4 is actually really close, just under a tenth separating them. And then Lars just over 2 tenths behind them in fifth. Rocky, not a good performance from what we've seen from the rest of the season, in sixth. Serial Killer and Izan in 8th, with Alex and Dark rounding out the top 10, and then Ibo in 11th with Doc and Jav in 12th and 13th. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Doc does on strategy, if he goes for the mediums to super strategy, obviously starting at the back, but he's obviously got to be wary of an early safety car or even picking up damage. But yeah, hopefully he'll get up the order and maybe be able to relight his title charge.
I think with the pace we've seen Doc show this season, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he goes for the mediums and tries to go long and overcut the bulk of the field. But as you said, top four extremely close for F2 especially. I'm used to seeing quite a large field spread in F2, and yet we have 4 cars within 88 thousandths of a second, which is, I think, is closer than I've seen anyway at any round this season. And we'll just wait for the drive straight up and see those tyre selections. If well, I know you're going to be in action later in Division 1, Nathan. I don't want to give too much away, but if you were in Doc's position, what would you be going for? Would you be going for the super softs or the mediums?
I think, well, personally, I've always been one to just stick with the bold strategy and just do the softest to then the second compound, because I think like you're always at risk of an early safety car messing up your race and everyone getting a free pit stop, and then you've got to you're kind of hang out to dry. But yeah, I think with his pace advantage, he'd be able to make the mediums to supers work. But I think if I was him, I would do the super softs and mediums. And actually, he has gone on the mediums. So yeah, I think he's feeling quite confident that he won't pick up any damage or that a safety car will come out. But yeah, I think you're always at risk, I think, with either strategy. But yeah, hopefully he will not get ruined.
I think with the safety car there, he does get a little more leeway on the alternate strap, because of course if there is a safety car, you can't make your mandatory pit stop in the first 3 laps. I think I'm right in saying. So that does close the window in which he might miss out on it due to a safety car a little bit for him. So that does work in his favour. Londa Tim on the front row, also going for mediums. He went on the Ultra last week to tremendous effect. He went long, he came out just behind Callie and then got ahead of him almost straight away. Callie, of course, also had a 5-second penalty in that race, but he made it work to tremendous effect last week. So I imagine he's like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and he's going to go and see if he can make it work again. I'm not too surprised that we've seen the bulk of the drivers go for the super softs. This is, well, I'm sure you'll know better than me, but in F1, this is. Oh, I say that Londa Tim is disconnected, so well, he's in the mud a little bit, isn't he? But I was going to say, is the tyre wear is practically non-existent in Formula 1? Is it the same in Formula 2?
The tyre wear in Formula 2 it's a lot more, I'd say, brutal than F1. To put it probably the best I can. Like most tracks, you're only looking on the softest compound. You only really want to be on them for I think some tracks are minimum 3, and then at most, I'd even say just 6 laps or something. I think round here you might see, at least for the super softs, I think they'll be coming off them around about lap 5, possibly lap 6. But yeah, I think this is one of the, as you say, the better tracks for degradation, like it is in F1 Russia. But yeah, and then the free proof on the mediums, I'd say they'll probably pit maybe lap 9. But yeah, somewhere around that for them.
I have no idea if there's any risk of rain in this race, but if not, as you say, I think drivers will want to try and maximise how long they're on super soft if the tyre wear is favourable towards them. But we have the Tim missing, he's disconnected, and he won't be able to get into his car before the race starts. But other than that, we have 12 drivers lined up and ready to go. I'll try and get a good view of the start. If Codemasters will give me one. There we go. So we've got 3, 4 and 5 red lights at Russia, and we are underway. And Callie has been pursued by Jordan. Ryan, is he going to get a slipstream? He's got a tremendous launch off the start, and he pulls out from Callie's slipstream already. Jordan tucks in behind them both, and see if they're side by side heading down towards turn 1. Jordan tucks under his teammate, and is Ryan going to sail around the outside? Here he is. Callie's going to try and send him the long way around. They almost touch wheels over the curb. There's and I think we've got a spinner at the back there. Is that BTI Doc round? It is not what our championship chasing Prima leader, but at the front it is Callie from Ryan from Rocky, and Londa Tim already dropping right to the back of the field with that disconnection. And the 2 UNIs will be very happy there as Rocky goes up the inside of Jordan into turn 6. Jordan generous with the amount of space he's given, and Rocky, well, they're side by side towards at 8, but Rocky has the position and he needs some good points with the races he's missed this season. But what a start that was for Callie and Ryan.
Yeah, great start for them, and actually Ryan's having a look down your side, but wisely backing out as Dark gets past Ivo. But yeah, really unlucky for Dark. I think they were actually 4 wide on the exit of the turn 2-3 complex, which don't really want to be, but yeah, very unlucky for him. As yeah, we have Ryan and Callie side by side, and Ryan gonna send it. He's a lot late on the brakes. Callie tries to get the switchback, but that's a very nice move from Ryan, and I think everyone else just kind of single file at the moment, just trying to get through lap 1. As actually Callie's come back at Ryan, and yeah, I've had to eat my words because yeah, Callie is.
Sorry, Jordan's round. I think he's got damage. He went off at that off-camber chicane, and he's all the way down to the back. But you're absolutely right. Tremendous drive in from Callie and Ryan keeping that clean. I was briefed above with the 2 Carlins. They were side by side down the back straight, but Callie just about hangs on to his lead at the end of lap 1 by 0.4 of a second. And Rocky Raccoon, actually, Ryan was looking at challenging for the lead, but he's now having to defend from the Prima, the Northern Irishman behind him. He pulls out the slipstream, he'll tuck into Callie's, and how brave is he going to be around the outside? Ryan will try and force him, like we saw at lap 1, just over that inside kink of turn 3, and now they're side by side through the yawning left-hander of 4. I think Rocky Raccoon has just come out on top of that one, and I wonder how quickly he might get on after Callie now.
Yeah, definitely a lovely move by Rocky. I think Doc may have made another mistake because he was just about, unless my game is glitched or something, but yeah, he was right behind Jordan. So yeah, I don't know if Doc actually picked up any damage. I can't see. Actually, no, he has got damage on his left side end plate. So yeah, Doc is definitely going to struggle, and obviously, like I was saying earlier, with that medium strategy, he's really in a bad situation right now, which is not going to help him. Jordan actually really lucky to get away with no damage, I believe. I can't see any on the car, so unless he got the tiniest bit. So yeah, I think with his pace, he'll definitely try and make up the order as he gets past Ivo straight away, up into P11. But yeah, I think everyone else not really trying for move. I think Giav, no, he doesn't go for the move on Tim, but yeah, just a bit single file at the moment.
We've got a tasty little battle developing between Lars and Eisen over P4. Lars was right in the thick of things last week. He had something, he was tied to Maverick, I remember, on something of string, and he's going for it in the second to last corner. And I wonder if this is going to be a battle that's going to rumble on all race long, like we saw with Lars and Maverick. Eisen has to take the long way round, went off track on the exit. I wonder if that got him some kind of warning, but DRS is now enabled. They won't get it until the back straight on the run down towards turn 13. Until then, it's still Callie, still Rocky, still Ryan, and Eisen just about keeps ahead. But we've got a yellow flag, and Rocky Raccoon is down at turn 3, and I think he's got damage as well. Both Primas, what a rotten start it's been for them. And indeed, he's barely got any front wing left as the Northern Irishman. And as Jav picks up first penalty of the race, I don't think it'll be the last, but what an awful situation for both Primas.
Yeah, really unlucky. I think he lost it as a lot. Actually, it's really easy to do on the exit turn 2. Just picked up a bit too much throttle, and yeah, ran into the wall. So I think obviously he can pick this lap now, as is lap 3, and I think the mediums, they will make it. He might struggle a little bit on the end, but yeah, really unlucky for both Primas. I think one thing drivers do have to watch out for is the engine temperatures, because it's really, especially in F2 cars, but especially around here, as Lars and Eisen are side by side now. Obviously, Lars with the DRS should get past quite easily, up into P3. But yeah, the engine temperatures in these F2 cars on any track are horrible, but especially around Russia, they're really bad, and they can get like in excess of 130 degrees, which is not so ideal, but yeah, it's just one thing. I think you'll see some drivers, as Ryan looked for a move up the other side of Callie, you'll see some drivers probably pull out the slipstream a lot earlier. Obviously with the DRS, it'll make it a lot easier, but yeah, hopefully they will still be able to pass.
Well, I think we're about to see a change for the lead here, because Ryan has got DRS, he's got slipstream, and he does pull out to cool that engine, and in the process, I think he's just about taking the lead. He'll park the car on the apex, and Callie has no way back through. He'll try and get a tow through the inside of 4, but I think his car's just going to drag wide, and it does. There's no way he's going to find his way through there without the mother of all dive bombs. He has half a look, but Ryan's not relinquishing that, and we've got two tremendous battles going on here. One for the lead, and the other for P3. And in fact, Lars and Eisen are side by side towards 7. Lars has the inside line and finally gets past the new F2 driver, of course, in his debut today. And but they're already 3.5 seconds off the back of Callie, and that's with Ryan and Callie already tussling out the first 2 laps. So the pace advantage that those two have right now is quite ridiculous. I'm wondering, as Rocky Raccoon now coming out of the pits off Chinta front wing, where those Pumas could have been if they were in amongst the front. Of course, Doc invalid in qualifying, and Rocky with that mistake, because Rocky was right with this leading pair of Callie and Ryan. So if he hadn't have dropped out, I wonder if he might even had even more pace in hand than these guys, because he did look much quicker, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Both of them did seem to have the pace of the leaders. I think even with Rocky's, as Alex and Dark in side by side at 3, but I believe Alex will keep the move done. Yeah, even with Rocky and P6, I believe he must have made a mistake, or maybe he is not actually that good round rusher, because obviously we've seen that most races this season it has been 2 framers. One thing I did see is Jav hits now. Rocky went onto another set of supers, which, as he almost is back in again, I don't really understand, because he's now going to have to make another pit stop regardless, as Eisen and Lars are side by side in turn 2. Lars gives him enough space, actually, a lot of respect from both drivers, but yeah, this battling, as you said earlier, is not helping him at all. As Lars, how has he done that? Just sweeps around the outside of turn 4 and back into P3. A ridiculous move, especially with the amount of understeer that you get in these cars. I don't know how he's done that, actually.
I think it was ridiculous.
That was stupid.
Is the word. He had the wider line, so he could have carried more speed. I wonder if Eisen just felt pinched up against the curb and didn't have the confidence to use as much of the throttle as Lars was.
Yeah, possibly, but...
Eisen's going mad with the track limits here through the middle sectors. Killer picks up second penalty of the race. I did promise I'd make some kind of serial joke, but none spring to mind. We've got Ryan and Callie back at it for part 2, and through the inside of 12 towards 13, they're going to go, and they're not side by side. Callie well ahead into the braking zone, and he doesn't even have to cover off the next corner. He can just take his line through there, but I'm sure Ryan will be right back at him towards the next straight. And further down, we've got Dark and Alex pushing each other through 13. Alex takes the place, and Eisen and Lars don't know where to look here at Russia. Eisen and Lars are yo-yoing this way and that through the chicane, and Lars is coming to bits. He's had enough of that battle, and he thinks, excuse me, I want some clean air, and I want your positions. Killer in as well, Callie in from the lead. So this is going to be a crucial lap, isn't it, this race? Ryan, Eisen, if they, well, any of them, the ones that pitted, the ones that stayed out, they can't afford
Callie got held.
to make a mistake. And yes, Callie.
Yeah, Callie got held by Killer.
Well, he needs a qualifying lap right now, doesn't he? He needs a one-shot qualifying lap if he's going to get ahead or stay ahead of Ryan when he comes in, because though in F2 I've noticed much more than F1, and he's behind Ibo, which is not what he needs either. Knowing Ibo will probably dive out of the way through turn 4, but if it holds Callie up even a couple of tenths, it's not what he needs. And what I was going to say is that I know that in F2 cars especially, it takes longer to switch a new set of tyres on. I struggle more in F2 when I come out of the pits for a few corners, much more than I do in F1. F1, the tyres seem to click straight away. In F2, that doesn't feel the case. I don't know if you disagree, but Callie does get past Ibo, but might have cost him a couple of tenths, but we'll see how the gap evolves to Ryan through the lap. But would you say that's the case, that the tyres take a little longer to click in F2, or am I talking absolute nonsense?
No, definitely is the case. Obviously, the tyres, as Dark and Alex are going side by side, and Dark should get the move done. I don't know if Alex is going to try and hold it around the outside, is he? No, he doesn't. But yeah, obviously in F2 you don't have, as Ryan's coming into the pits, you don't have any tyre blankets, so obviously the tyres, I believe, are at 60 degrees, possibly. I might be mistaken there, but yeah, anyway. Obviously, you have no tyre blanket, so yeah,
Sorry, Dark's gone really deep in the second last corner. He just completely missed his braking point, picks up a penalty for good measure, and, well, I wonder if this was just a cunning plan to get DRS back on Alex, because now he's got it, and he might even hold on to this position for another lap here. Alex comes to the right-hand side. Dark just decides, I'll go even more to the right, and Dark backed out of that one. He gave Alex too much respect, too much space. We'll see where Callie and Ryan are in relation to each other, and I think Ryan has got this covered just about. I wonder if those few tenths behind Ibo, that getting held behind Killer in the pits, has cost Callie a chance to lead this race. But Ryan said about the very deep into turn 2, had to pull his car back off across track for 3, and Callie, as you and I, just waltzed through there into the net lead of the race.
Lars has done it again. He's gone, I don't know how he's doing it. He's just gone straight around the outside of Eisen again around turn 4. That is honestly, I don't even know what to say about that. Because the amount of understeer in these cars compared to obviously F1 cars or even the 2019 F2 cars is unreal. But yeah, Lars back into P7, which will be net P3. Yeah, I genuinely don't know what to say about that. But I do wonder if, I know you mentioned earlier about Dark going really deep, I do wonder if he actually meant to pit on that last lap. I don't know if was he within the white line and then he just missed the pit lane? I don't know if he caught it. I'm
not too sure. I mean, he would have been behind Eisen, wouldn't he? Did Eisen pit last lap?
Eisen did pit last lap, yeah.
It might have been. He realised his teammate was there and then took some very late avoiding action. But Dark and
Alex has come in very early.
Alex coming in.
Mediums. But yeah, obviously he'll be going on to set super small. So yeah, he'll probably struggle in the last 2 laps. But yeah, maybe actually not a bad strategy because obviously he won't lose too much time now to the guys that are already on mediums. I believe he will come out possibly behind Jordan.
Oh, sorry, we've got Lars and Eisen. Eisen dived out of the slipstream very late there and swung back under. I think I was trying to avoid a collision there as much as overtake. He pulled right to the far right of the track and then tucked back in, and it cost him, I think, a lot through turn 2 because he's dropped back. I wonder if he wanted to give Lars a taste of his own medicine. I was trying to hang it out around the outside of 4, and he goes really wide at 6. But sorry, Nathan, as you were.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, it was quite a early-ish stop from Alex. Obviously, he's right on the back of Jordan and Jav. He is... How far is he off? He's about 14 seconds off of Ryan and Callie, but only 10 off of Lars. So potentially he could be on for a P3, obviously, depending on what Tim and maybe Doc, if he can find any time. But I think Doc may be out of it. Yeah, if Alex can get through Jav and Jordan quite quickly and then Killer, he could be potentially on for a podium. But I think more likely a P4 or P5. But yeah, at the moment, just obviously Tim comes in now. Obviously he'll put on a set of supers. Doc stays up for another lap, or no, he doesn't. He cuts the pit entry, which is a bit interesting. But anyway, we have Ryan and Callie about to retake the net lead. So yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-horse race between them now. Ryan, I think it's too early to call which of them's actually going to win, because every lap they just swap over, but they've been very smart about it. Obviously we've seen Lars and Eisen, we might see it on this lap as well. We've just seen them every lap being at it as Ryan is down the other Callie, and yeah, just every lap Callie and Ryan, even though they're side by side, they've just been very smart about it and making sure they don't lose time. Whereas Lars and Eisen, they will literally just be going side by side anywhere. And this is what's caused them to lose almost 5 seconds now to leaders.
The way Ryan is looking at Callie right now, though, I'm wondering if he's had enough of playing this cat and mouse game and he just wants to try and get ahead. He's sticking very close. He's having a look through 4 and 5. We've got a couple of interesting battles on now. We've got this ongoing one for the lead, which I think will rattle on for the entire race. We've got Lars and Eisen, and already we've got Londa Tim now joining this battle after recovering from his disconnection in the formation lap. And we've got Killer, Jav, Alex, Jordan, and Dark. Actually, we've got a nice little train there, starting with Jav. But we'll focus on this battle right now between Londa Tim and Eisen, and Tim on fresh sauce. How much confidence has he got to try and hang it around the outside of what is a very narrow braking zone? And he backs out of it. He backed out of it, I think, Alex backed out of it on Jordan at the last lap. Neither Carlin feeling too confident on the brakes. He has another look into that tricky little chicane. That could have easily ended in some missing front wing. He pulls out of Eisen's slipstream, but again, backs out of it. I wonder if he's trying just to spook Eisen into missing some apexes, losing DRS, because I think that is exactly what's happened. Eisen is out of Lars's DRS, and Tim, by playing with his food before he eats it, has cut the Campos off and has taken a free position very easily. That was very well played by the Carlin driver.
Yeah, very smart from Tim there, and he should be able to get onto the back of Lars pretty quickly. Not sure if he'll be able to make it 5.6 seconds as Alex picks over him while overtaking Jav. Obviously, Alex a little bit further behind me as Carlin teammate. Oh, as Jordan goes up the inside, and it's Jav going to get him round the outside of the corner. It's going to be a little bit close. They both leave each other room. Lovely move by Jav there round the outside. But yeah, I think Tim already almost back into the DRS of Lars. Should get it onto this straight. Be interesting to see if he can make up the gap to Ryan and Callie. Because if, like you said, if Ryan is done playing this yo-yo game, they could start to get a bit nasty to each other and possibly start to lose out to Tim. As is Ryan going to go down the inside? No, he backs out. But I do wonder if Ryan maybe also he's got two ways he can play this. He can either I've just thought he does have a penalty. So he really does. I was going to say he could obviously just wait till the last lap and then DRS him, but actually he kind of needs to get a move on now.
Yeah, I spotted that as you were talking, and I hadn't noticed it come through either. But he does need to get a move on because Londa Tim is only 5 seconds off the lead of the race, 4.7 behind Ryan. And if he dispatches Lars, which I think he's going to do this lap, fast lap of the race for Tim, he's got so much more traction off the last corner that he's already side by side by the time they even opens his DRS. And we've got the lead changing hands as well. Ryan down the inside of Callie. How much hard is Callie going to fight this? And he cuts across the apex of the kink of 3, and they're side by side through 4, and Ryan's car is understeering, washing across the track, and Tim is through on Lars as well, and they're still side by side through 5, and Callie somehow has just about kept the whole lead in this race, and in the process Ryan is hemorrhaging time to Londa Tim behind. Any hopes he had of keeping P2 I think have already gone with those softs that the German has on the Carlin behind him, because the gap's shrinking tenths by tenths every corner. It's 3.2 now between Ryan and Tim, and I think that Tim has already put himself in the window as Ryan bumps Callie through that corner onto the straight. He's got so much more, I don't know if it's belief or confidence, but he just feels more like he wants the lead of this race, and I think Callie, how hard is he going to fight this into 13? He'll see Ryan's got that penalty, of course, but doesn't try and slow the high-tech man down too much on that occasion, and Ryan is finally through, but for how much longer? Because they've got the next DRS straight about to come up, and Tim still reeling in these guys. We've still got that battle rumbling on between Alex, Jav, Jordan, and Jordan and Dark are actually side by side through 13. Jordan has the inside as they duck under the bridge and towards the off-camber chicane. And Doc jumps in there, and Doc's now having a look at the inside of Jordan, and that was unwise, I think, from the Prima Man. But he just does well to back out of it. And, I think that has settled things down now, at least for a few corners. And we've got Ryan leading with a penalty, Callie seconds, Tim third, although in prime position to win this race now with those super soft tyres, especially Ryan and Callie keep fighting. Lars is fourth, Eisen fifth, Killer sixth, Alex seventh, and then this battle between Alex, who's scampered away a little bit, then Jav, Jordan, Doc, and Dark. And Jav, you have to say, very much in the cork of the bottle right now with his Ariel co-owner behind him. And in the process, it's brought Doc right into this battle after that early damage. But the problem for Doc is that they're stopping him getting any further. They've allowed him to catch up, but now he can't get any closer to them.
Yeah, I think Doc at this bit, especially with the penalty, I don't even think he's going to be it. Like, unless he's going to have to get past Jav to get reverse grid pole, because as it stands, it's just gonna Jordan will just pick up the place over Jav and get reverse grid pole, and then Jav and Doc will start E9 and 10. And I've noticed Dark's just joined the back of this train. So yeah, Jav really, was Dark almost easy. Yeah, Jav just holding up these for a little bit, but Jordan can't get close. I don't know whether it is engines or if Jordan, obviously he's one lap older on the mediums, but maybe Jordan's pushed a bit too hard on his mediums, but yeah, he just can't get past at all over Jav. As at the front, Callie a little bit closer, but I think Ryan has picked up the pace a bit.
Oh, sorry, Doc and Jordan trading places. Doc, that was beautifully done. Hooked that chicane up perfectly, just swung it around the outside, just carried way more speed than the Scott, and does get past. I think he's going to dispatch Jav very quickly. But yes, as you were saying, at the front, 0.3 of a second between Ryan and Callie, and the Tim is now 2.5 seconds off the lead. I think Tim can win this race. 2 laps to go. He's got a chance. If Callie and Ryan fight it anymore, we've got a chance. And Doc is past Jav into turn 2.
Yeah, lovely move by Doc then. He can push on a little bit. I don't think he can have a check. He might be able to get within Serial Killer's penalty window. I think he's got to gain about... it's about 1.7 seconds, but obviously with his supers, which he may have burnt a little bit trying to get past Jav, but yeah, he could still be on for a reverse grid pole, or unless he can actually pull away from Jordan. It's going to be very close between them all, but yeah, apart from that, Tim's closing in ever so slowly. It's about 1 or 2 tenths every sector, but if he can, obviously we've only got 1 lap left, if he can have a really good final lap, although I don't know if he's going to gain enough, because I think Ryan and Callie have picked up the pace enough, and obviously since they've stopped battling, as Jordan has been overtaken by Dark, which is not going to help Jordan for reverse grid pole. Actually, Dark's gone wide, so they're going to start battling now. Jordan going to keep around the outside. Dark leaves him a lot of room, a lot of respect, obviously, from the ISRL man and the former / still kind of ISRL man. But yeah, onto the final lap. And Callie, I think he's just going to stick in the DRS of Ryan, and I think pick up the win. And I think Tim, as much as he will probably pick up second without any mistakes, I think he could be a little bit annoyed that he wasn't able to at least have a chance at the win. But I think a P2, especially he was P12 after like the second corner because of disconnected just before the start. So yeah, I think for him anyway, it's been actually quite a really good drive.
I think unless the alternate strategy is that powerful, I think this is a showcase of just how quick Tim is. He should have perhaps won this race if he hadn't had that disconnection. And I think you said about Callie sitting in Ryan's DRS, and the DRS is saving Callie right now, I think, because without it, the Tim would have been all over the back of him. But I'm just watching the delta through the sectors, and the Tim is losing 3-4 tenths per second down each straight to Callie's DRS. He gets within 1.5 seconds, and then he'll just start losing. See that time ebb away as he goes down straight. He lost 3 tenths nearly down the straight there. But we are into the final sector, final lap, and it is Ryan and Callie have had a battle that has rumbled on all race long. They've traded places God knows how many times since the start of the race, and it is going to be Ryan who's going to win on track by 0.5 second or so, but Callie, by virtue of not picking up that crucial penalty is going to be your feature race winner, your championship leader, wins the feature race in Sochi, and it's Ryan second and Lon de Tim. I didn't see his penalties. I had no idea he had penalties. They weren't showing up on my screen because he disconnected.
I don't think he...
or is that desync?
He didn't. So he only had 2 warnings. I think he... in the Division 1 Japan race for F1 the other week, M-Short got I think there's a glitch where you get a 5-second penalty when you disconnect, which I think that's what's happened. Because if you go on his race director, he's only actually got 2 warnings.
Yeah, I was wondering why it weren't showing up, but Codemasters doing their finest work.
So yeah, I think Tim, it's going to ruin the sprint race. Well, actually, it will help him in the sprint race, but yeah, he should have had second now.
So yeah, it is Cali first, Ryan second, Tim third, I think, when points are applied, but he will start fifth in the feature race rather than sixth. Lars is fourth, Eisen is fifth, Alex sixth, Serial Killer eighth, VTI Doc drove that to perfection. His plan was to get sprint race for pole after that damage, because he is the man who will be starting there, and be interesting to get a real measure of his pace in clean air and see just how quick he is, because we've seen a lot in F2 when a quick driver gets bottled up in traffic, it's really hard for them to show their pace, but he has got a huge chance to win the sprint race. And if he wins the sprint race, I don't think you can say it's been too bad a round for him to come out with, perhaps even an 8th in the feature race, but a sprint race win. You can't complain about that, I don't think. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we've only just finished the feature, and huge congrats to XL Cali. And as I said, he was leading the championship anyway, and that is actually, I am right in saying, his first win of the season of any description. He came second in the Brazil sprint race, third in the British feature, third in the China sprint, third in the Zandvoort sprint, and second in the Abu Dhabi feature. But that is his first win, so huge congratulations to him. And Ryan is second, and that will jump him up the championship order. I think it'll bring him much closer to Jordan, Tim, and Doc, who are just above him. Tim third, Lars fourth, Eisen fifth on his debut in League of Europe. Alex sixth, Serial Killer seventh, VTI Doc, and he is your sprint race pole man. What did you make of that race, Nathan? What are your thoughts before we head into the sprint?
That you can actually overtake around here.
Especially if your name's Lars.
Yeah, I still I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if Eisen was, like he said, just backing off a little bit because he didn't want to understeer into him. But yeah, if there was an overtaker today, it's him twice, because both of those moves were stupid. They were just stupidly good. Yeah, I think there was a lot of respect shown from all the drivers. I think I only really saw 2 touches when overtaking, which, especially for F2 when you're understeering everywhere, it's actually really impressive. So yeah, good from all the drivers. And obviously we move on to the sprint race, where obviously Doc will hopefully be looking for a lights to flag victory, which I think we'd probably expect from him, but we never know. I mean, he could jump start or not even get off the line or anything, but yeah.
It's Formula 2, whether it's real life or whether it's a league in the game. You never really know what's going to happen. It is unpredictable. Just have a look at the comments in the break. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in, all 15 of you live. That's very impressive. Thank you for watching. Relentless Nolan says, "Happy birthday, Jake." Thank you. It's not my birthday until September the 1st, but I appreciate the effort and I will remember it when my birthday rolls around. Our other League of Europe Formula 2 commentator, Matt, says he's very fond of his replacement. I'll bear that in mind. Nathan, you're welcome back next week. And we've got some Lars fans in the chat. Mr. I don't think I can say his name on stream because it sounds quite naughty. But we've got some Lars fans in the chat, so big support, and he's given them a good show with his moves around ISR ISRL Eisen, who I think will have had enough of him this race. And, well, Lars is behind Eisen, and we know what happens when we see that. Nolan says, good luck in comms, Nathan. He's got good. He's giving you good luck halfway through the stream.
Oh,
but
you.
he's also wishing
And
you happy birthday.
Well.
Yeah. I suppose we can be wished happy birthday any time of the year. But
We can, even if it's 2 months away. But
Ibbo, you're doing the thing. Ibbo starting on Super Softs.
yeah, I
Ladies
did
and
notice
gents.
that. I was going to say.
Yes, it's not the first time this season we've seen
Ibbo does love a good super soft, doesn't he?
opt for the softer tyre. He
Yeah.
is something of a sprint race connoisseur when it comes to tyres. Is LOE Go Ibbo, and we've got Doc and Killer disqualified from the session. Is it any surprise that Serial Killer was involved in that? Well, again, I'm trying to think of a serial-related pun, but none are coming to me.
I don't know what, spilling milk or something, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no love lost, no spilt milk between Vitae Doc and Serial Killer.
Oh,
So it's Alex who's going to lead them round as they jump into AI for the start of this race. Eisen is close behind him, and everyone on the mediums, of course, in the feature in the sprint race. 11 laps, 3 laps less than the feature, and no pit stops are mandatory. Still a risk of safety cars, of course, and if there is a safety car, they are welcome to pit, but they don't have to, unlike the feature. So everybody lines up, Ibbo the last car coming into place, and we will ride on board with whoever shows a front view of the grid, which right now is none of them. There we go. 4 lights and 5. And for the second time today, we're underway. Vitae Doc and Serial Killer on the front row. I think Doc got a very clean getaway. Really good getaway for Eisen. He's up the inside of turn 1. He's already passed Serial Killer into turn 2. He'll tuck into Doc's slipstream. But I wonder if he's going to get boxed in there. He'll have to tuck out to try and defend that position. He's going to get pinched on the inside. I think actually Killer's coming back round the outside of Doc, and he just gets bumped wide. And Alex jumps in the middle of the both of them. Doc down to third. It's Alex who leads Killer, and they come to blows in the middle of 4. How on earth are these cars in a straight line? And now is that Ryan leading the race? And they're 3. Oh my words. What is that? We've got damage for Jordan there, and Ryan B leads the race. We're a sector. This race is a sectoral. We had about 6 different cars in the lead, and I dread to think who else has got damage behind Jordan, but it's Ryan, Alex, Eisen, your front 3. Tim is 4th, Doc is 5th, Callie already up 2 places to 6th. Pole didn't work well. You said about lights to flag victory for Vitae Doc. It is not gone that way, has it? And we've got Jav, Raccoon, Dark, Ibbo trading places at the back. Jav past Serial Killer now, and everyone's strung out into a train as they're down the back straight.
yeah, crazy start. I don't think anyone's going to be close enough to make a move unless at the back. No, everyone's just single file at the moment. But yeah, I don't really know what happened. I think Ryan B, him, Alex and Doc were 3 wide. I think Ryan B almost acted as if there was no cars on the inside and just went for the apex of turn 5, but somehow he's made it work and he's gone up 6 places from P7, so I mean, I guess fair play to him. Possibly Doc or Alex and the stewards might have something to say about it, but yeah, Ryan B's he's pulled a second already over Alex. I don't believe Alex got any damage for it, no. Jordan unfortunately got damage, as we see Rocky and Jav side by side coming out to turn 2. I don't think anyone else in front, I don't really know. But yeah, Rocky and Jav side by side. And Sirius actually
it's Killer diving between them. He ignores
he
the
should
corner.
get the positions back.
You say he should, but corners, as they say, they're not there to drive round. They're more like guidelines to follow. With modern F1 track limits, they're not obligatory. Jordan is in the pits after his damage, and Dark takes a very liberal line around the outside of turn 5. So, as you said, Ryan up 6 places. We'll just take stock of all the changes that have happened. So yeah, well, once it settles out and Jordan disappears off top of my timing tower, Ryan up 6 places, and I would love to see the POV of that first lap. He's already 1.9 seconds clear, in fact, of Alex behind him. And then Eisen has got quite the train tucked up underneath him right now, all the way down to Lars in P8. No one more than half a second back as they rattle down the back straight towards turn 13. Anyone looking for a move will ride on board with Eisen. Will look back to Callie, who's having a look at Tim. Lars behind him. And I think they're all just waiting for DRS to come into activation in a lap's time, but Eisen bumping the back of Alex through the chicane, and then has to turn out the second part of the chicane, and in the process got very slow on the exit, and Doc had a big squirmy moment, and then Doc went deep. We've seen a chain of mistakes here. Doc defending fresh air at the last quarter. There was no way Tim was ever going to go for a dive bomb there, so I don't know why Doc felt the need to cover the inside, because he's just harming himself and his own race. But Ryan B, how do you like it? Just chilling up front, good vibes for him. I'm sure he's kicking back, listening to some music, and just chilling his way to a sprint race victory. He's 2 seconds clear of Alex and Eisen behind him, and he'll be hoping that they just keep battling all the way through. And Eisen, I'm sure, will be looking for an opportunity to have a go at that turn 4 move himself. He's got good experience of it, and he's really close to Alex, isn't he? I thought Alex would be the quicker driver in this bunch, perhaps other than Doc, but Eisen's all over the back of him, isn't
he? Yeah, Eisen all over the back of him. We'll see. Maybe he believes that he could possibly go catch Ryan, but I think with Ryan's pace right now, I mean, he's gained almost half a second on this lap alone. I think Ryan's just gonna win this race by a huge margin. I think we're gonna see hopefully an overtake or two happen to this corner, but I'm a bit worried that Eisen's engine is quite hot. Although he looks like he's going to be able to make the move. I don't know if Alex is going to try and defend it hard. He is. He's going to try and keep running outside.
Oh, sorry. Tim hit the back of Doc. Doc nearly spun round, but Alex, he's squeezing Eisen there. But I think Eisen was probably trying to.
He's still going to keep it. Oh, that was a bit silly by Eisen there, trying to keep it.
Yeah, I think sometimes you've got to know when you beat it and just back out. There's another DRS straight in 3 quarters time. Calm down, lad, you'll get your chance. But we've got a nice... And Alex gets the penalty, actually, at the final corner. We've got a nice little nose-to-tail battle. Callie's just dropped back a little bit, actually, and that might give to Tim the slipstream advantage that you need. Callie has DRS, but is it going to be enough to keep him ahead? And up ahead, Alex got a little gap to Eisen, but is Eisen feeling his chances? Is he sending it? Not this time, and Doc has nothing he can do really with that DRS train. And we need someone to make a mistake, I think, to see some leeway here. Alex goes a little bit wide at the exit 4, but I think what this battle needs is it needs a little mistake. It needs someone to upset the balance of the DRS train, because right now everything is just everyone's feeding everyone else with the healthy amounts of slipstream and DRS, and it's costing them. We've got someone round at the back, and it's Lars. He's dropped it, or he's crashed, or he's hit someone at turn 7.
When he was spinning back round, he drove into the wall. He didn't have damage before. I don't know.
There's only one way to describe Lars there, and it's Silly Billy. So,
we go for round 2. Alex,
Eisen and Alex 3 seconds off the lead, but they don't care. And oh my dear lordy, there's a pair of Silly Billies. Yeah, I think that was Eisen.
Eisen squeezed Alex way too much into that wall. I think they both picked up damage from that as well. Alex did.
You're absolutely
Eisen giving me a better camera. I don't know, but actually you can see his M-Plex gone. But Eisen just almost turned left into Alex, and I really hope Alex isn't about to hit him. No, he's not. Okay, good. That was Eisen. But I mean, we said we wanted a mistake.
Eisen gave Alex a lovely little love tap into the pit lane, which I think might have been premeditated a little bit there. Ivo's hit the wall. Everyone is fancy having a look at this wall today. They must be freshly painted or something, because everyone wants to get up close and personal with them. So VTI Doc is now in second place after losing God knows how many places on the first lap. and he's back up just one below where he started, and is already starting to catch Ryan B. It's going down by a couple of tenths already on this lap, and I wonder if actually Doc isn't just start catching Ryan, but I wonder if he's going to drag Callie into Tim around, because Callie and Tim look very confident on the track as well. First and third in this feature race. So this isn't a too shabby trio, is it? So Ryan has very much got to pound out some qualifying laps here. He's got 6.5 laps to the end of this race, and he needs to make every one of them count, because if he gives Doc half a chance, I dare say the Prima Man, he's going to take it.
Yeah, I think Doc is looking the quicker of the two, but obviously that 3 second advantage, or just over 3 second advantage, it's going to be difficult for Doc to catch him, I think. But I think if there's anyone to do it out of the field, I think it is Doc. But yeah, it could be he might catch him actually as he loses 2 tenths through that corner. So yeah, maybe Ryan. I don't know. I think Ryan's got this, but as Callie is actually. I wonder if Doc's struggling a bit, because Callie, obviously he's just at the fastest lap, but Callie's closed up a lot, and I think he will be able to make the move into turn 2. He's going to get slipstream, go to the outside, and he should actually be past before the corner, so... Yeah, it's Doc... Oh, he's broken really late, and he should get... Oh, it's Callie's lost the traction now.
Dear. And Doc slows down, and Tim thinks, is it Christmas? Is it my birthday? Is it both? Because he's up into second, and with the DRS, he's actually 4.1 seconds off Ryan. So I think Tim did gain a little bit of time to ride in that. Doc will be lucky, won't he? Because he gave up that place. He didn't need to give up that place to Tim, as it turned out, because Callie dropped it all by his lonesome. And I don't think Tim will get a penalty for that, because he didn't take Callie out of the race. Callie dropped it by himself. Albon Imola style 2020, and Doc's got a penalty, but yeah, Callie dropped it by himself, and Doc made every effort to make amends and give the place back. He slowed down, Tim went past, so I don't think there's any penalty threat for Doc there, but that's given Ryan a huge amount of breathing room, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Doc did everything he could have. Obviously, he gave up the second position and went back into third, but yeah, very unlucky for Callie. We have Doc and Jav side by side. Jav defending slightly breaks late, and leaves him just on the frame as Callie comes around the outside. They touch a little bit. It's got a little bit heated, but yeah, Callie back up to P7. Obviously, championship leader. Gonna obviously still pick up quite a few points. I think he will probably get past Jav. Maybe he can catch Serial Killer, but I'm not too sure. Is Tim actually such fast off the race? But yeah, Doc's gotta come back at him, and I think as long as roles aren't reversed, I think Doc should have it done quite easy. And yeah, Tim just gives it up for now anyway. Obviously, with Doc's penalty, I think Tim will probably do what Callie did and just kind of sit with him, because I think they both know they're not going to catch Ryan now, as Callie's pushing Jav through turn 2. But yeah, I think they know they're not going to catch Ryan, so I think Doc's just going to just sit and try and at least get away from Rocky. I think that's the one person who's going to try and get past.
Sorry, Jav tried to send it on Callie into turn 6. I don't think he was close enough for that. Callie had too much on him in the braking zone, and Jav just got pinched against the apex. It's not really a long braking zone there, because you scrub so much speed off through turn 4. I think Jav perhaps a little opportunistic there, but I don't think it was really anybody's fault. But that's given Callie 6th place. He's not going to make any progress on Serial Killer, although Killer does have a penalty. So Callie, 4.5 laps to find 2 seconds, and well, yeah, you're right. Doc and Tim, I don't think they're going to catch Ryan. They've gained 2 tenths between them on this lap, so that was lag. Tim just sailed through the back of Doc's ghosted car there, but luckily it was just lag, and it's as you were. It's Ryan, it's Doc, it's Tim in 3rd. Rocky Raccoon's had a quiet race, but he's up 8 places to 4th. Serial Killer 5th, Callie 6th. Jav 7th, Dark 8th, Ibo 9th, and Ibo down, I'm not sure, well, they've all had various misadventures this race. They've all been up close and personal with the wall as Doc pulls to the extreme left to try and defend second place from Tim. And if they had any hope of getting Ryan, I think that was the last straw, because Doc is fighting tooth and nail to defend this place that he's going to lose on a penalty anyway. If I was him, I'd be much more concerned with trying to break the gap to Rocky Raccoon. And Doc has a big slide coming towards the end of the first sector there, and that, again, done neither of them any favours. The gap to Ryan just briefly ticked over 4 seconds. Rocky Raccoon catching both of them. Killer behind has a penalty. So I think Doc's only threat really here with this penalty is to his teammate, and he's not doing himself any favours by trying to fight as hard as he is with Tim. Surely the better thing is, if you think that Tim's quicker than you, sit in his slipstream, just following him around and try and gain anything you can. It's not a good idea. If you think you're a slower car and you're trying to work off a penalty, to try and fight with someone who doesn't have a penalty.
Yeah, certainly. I think maybe Doc is thinking he's actually the quicker driver. Like, obviously, most of the season we've seen him and Rocky Raccoon have obviously been probably 2 of the quickest in this division. But yeah, Tim's, I mean, he's looking just more confident. We've seen Doc sliding all over the place. As they are like if they're yo-yoing, as Doc has another slide. I just don't know what's going on with him. He runs a little bit wide, and actually Tim should get him quite easily. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to lose that to Rocky Raccoon. And one thing I have noticed, it's got very dark and cloudy. And I'm not sure if it's going to rain, because we've only got 2.5 laps left. But potentially there could be rain on the last lap. But I don't know, maybe it's just going to just stay overcast. But yeah, if there is any rain, I mean, this order could change up massively on the last lap.
I think hoping for rain is wishful thinking, although you mentioned rain on the last 3 laps of the race. I do get PTSD, so please don't bring up rain at the end of a Liga Hit race. That is repressed trauma. Another penalty for Serial Killer, so that comfortably puts Kelly into 5th place, and he is the thick end of 8 seconds behind Rocky Raccoon, so that, I think, is his race done. Jav behind has a penalty. Dark behind him has a penalty. So I think Callie is locked into 5th, although there is an ongoing battle between those few, and I think Doc's just stepped off the back of Tim a little bit. So it looks like, with 2 laps to go, that it's going to be Ryan. They are catching Ryan, though. It's 2.8 now. Gap. They've gained 1.2 seconds, 1.3 seconds in the last few laps. Is there a chance if Ryan has a little slide? Is that more wishful thinking?
Yeah, they've definitely been catching quite quickly. I don't know if Ryan is just keeping it a bit, like, conservative, so he doesn't have a spin, because obviously he's seen Callie have a spin, he's seen Doc have a spin, Raccoon have a spin, so maybe he's just keeping it a bit conservative. Obviously he's got a 2.5 second gap coming on with 2 laps left, so he can afford to lose about maybe 8 times on this lap, so then Tim definitely won't get DRS. But yeah, he's not really doing himself any favours.
I'll tell you what, if Ryan and Tim, I just looked at the times, if Ryan and Tim match each other, do what they did on the last lap, on the next 2 laps, they would be nose to tail by the end of the 11th lap. So Ryan does have to get a shift on, because Tim was 1.3 seconds quicker on the last lap, and he was 2.4 at the start of this lap. It's only lost a couple of tenths in Sector 1, but it's 2 and 3 where all the time really is, I'd say. With this flowing sequence of corners, we'll keep an eye on the gap as it evolves, but I think it's safe to say Doc is giving up any hope of finishing second on track, although penalty for Callie. That could be costly, but it might not be, because Killer has 2 penalties ahead of him, and Callie's now in that 3-second window, so unless he gives up a place to Jav, which doesn't look likely, I think Callie hasn't done his race too much harm there. In the gap, 2.1, so Ryan has stepped up his pace a little on this lap. He's doing what he needs to do as we go towards the last lap of the race. And further back, we've got Jav and Dark. Dark is on the offensive against the Spanish man. Jav pulls to the inside of the track. It's the outside of 12, it's the inside of 13. but he backs out of it, and Doc just claims the apex. Nicely done, takes the line through the next corner. We've got a car round, and it's VTI. Doc is in the wars again, and well, he wasn't getting on the podium anyway, but he's definitely not getting on the podium now. And I'll tell you what, look who's right behind him. It's XL Cali again. After the two had that flashpoint where Doc locked up early in the race, and the gap as we go to the last lap between Ryan and Tim is 1.6 seconds. So Tim needs everything he's got under him this lap. He would have had DRS. Oh, sorry, he wouldn't have had DRS because he was ahead of Doc, but 1.5. He needs that gap to come down a tenth a corner if he wants to have a chance into the last couple. And I dread to think what that overtake would look like if he got into a position where he could do it. And we've still got the Jav battle, but I think this is the order on track, Nathan, and it's just a case of if Tim can catch Ryan, it's 1.3, 1.4. I don't think it's enough.
He's going to have to catch him a lot through these two corners to even get a chance, or if Ryan makes a mistake in the last sector and a half. But I think Ryan is going to hold up. Maybe he was keeping conservative. As Lars and I, then I'm not too sure what's up with the Izan. I think he may have had a spin, but
I think he dropped out of the last corner.
Okay. Yeah, I think Tim, again, is 2 races in a row, he's just going to lose out. It says a yellow flag, but it was actually got a puncture. Okay. Yeah,
He's
Tim,
very surprised.
yeah, Tim is, I think, 1 or 2 laps maybe, but just going to run out of time.
So it is Ryan then who is going to come out on top here. He took advantage of a manic first lap in the sprint race, gained 6 places, and since he took the lead, he has not given it up. He's looked comfortable. Even Tim's late charge couldn't halt him, and Ryan wins the sprint race, and it's Tim second, Rocky Raccoon third, Serial Killer with a host of penalties is going to come fourth. Doc jumps him, Cali jumps him, so it's Doc fourth, Cali fifth, Killer sixth, Jav seventh, Dark eighth. Alex is some way back, 40 seconds behind Dark. But what a race from Ryan. I think both winners have driven outstanding races here. Cali and Ryan have both been shining examples of not losing your head and leading from the front. People think leading from the front is easy, but it certainly isn't. You've got to keep your head, you've got to keep consistent, especially when you've got no car in front of you that's dangling like a carrot to match yourself against. It isn't as easy as it sounds, and Alex does finish the race in 9th. And we'll see if Lars jumps in on pens. I've not looked at the penalties. Lars does not. Alex only had the one. And then we wait for Eisen Ibo with that front left puncture. And Jordan is going to catch him here, is he? No, Jordan's back off. Jordan is giving Ibo the place. So it's going to be Ibo in 12th.
Oh.
Ibo slows down. They've stopped on the line.
One of these get disqualified.
There we go. In the end, does take
the slowest finish to a race.
Far too respectful from Ibo there. He may have a puncture, but he's still in a race. And I can't imagine Lewis Hamilton doing that for Max Verstappen at the 2020 British Grand Prix. Would have been absolute scenes on Twitter if he'd thought, I've got a puncture. After you, sir, you take the win. But it's Ryan B, 1994, who is your sprint race winner. XL Cali came out on top in the feature, and he's joined on the podium by Londa Tim and Rocky Raccoon, who, well, we'll have a look at the standings. I dare not do the mental math, but Rocky Raccoon's last podium was the feature win at Netherlands. Ryan, that is very useful for him. He's not finished on the podium since China. He had 3 podiums in a row. Britain Sprint, China Feature, China Sprint. But since then... Oh no, I'm talking rubbish. He came second Abu Dhabi Feature, so ignore me. But yeah, that is very important for Ryan's title chances, because he's still in that battle with Cali, with Jordan, with Doc. And I think Cali will be the man who'll be most proud of what's happened in the 2 races. I think he's gained on second place in the championship in both races. So Ryan wins. It's Londa Tim second, Rocky Raccoon third, VCI Doc from pole down to fourth. A good recovery after a difficult first lap. Championship leader Callie is 5th, Stereo Killer 6th, Jav 7th, ISRL Dark is 8th, Alex is 9th, Lars is 10th, Eisen is 11th, Ivo is 12th, and Jordan, after making 2 pit stops, is in last. He finishes 13th, 90 seconds off the lead. So, what are your closing thoughts, Nathan, on the race we've just seen? I have to say I've thoroughly enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, both races with a lot of entertainment, a lot of clean racing. Obviously, there was a bit of argy-bargy at the start of the D2 race, the sprint race, and obviously Eisen and Alex coming together. So that will probably be looked in the stewards, but I don't really see anything else apart from Eisen getting a warning, at least, or a penalty. But yeah, no, very, very interesting. Obviously, I think we're at the halfway point, or we're just over halfway point.
We're just past it, so that's round. Oh no, we are halfway. I was thinking it was 10 rounds. It is 12. So yeah, we're right. We are halfway through the season.
Obviously, it's back units, which is
interesting in F2 cars. A lot of wall riding, I'm expecting.
Just interesting for racing in general.
I'd love to be able to update you all on the championship standings before we end, but the only thing I can say with confidence is Callie is leading. I don't know more than that because I'm good at maths. I'm not that good at maths. So we'll leave it there, and I'll see you next week. It should be Matt back in the commentary box next week with myself for round 7 at Baku, Azerbaijan on the street circuit. So as Nathan says, that will be interesting, I think is the word. Thank you very much for tuning in. That has been League of Europe Formula 2 Division 2 action, and as I said, have a very good week, and we'll see you next time.